Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back, guys, of Magic. This is Hunter, David, Steven, and Shane. Say what up, boys.
What's going on, guys?
Hey.
What's up, nerds?
We are back. This time we are doing the Commander grades. There are 121 brand new legendaries from Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth. So the video that we're doing today is we're going to talk about all the brand new legendaries from the Riders of Rohan deck. That is right. That is the Precon deck, once again, from the new Lord of the Rings set, helmed by Eowyn, Shieldmaiden. I had the opportunity to go ahead and do this Precon upgrade. So if you guys haven't seen those, check out the 100 and the 300. They are in the description down below. But let's go ahead and jump into this with the very first, going in alphabetical order. This is Aragorn, King of Gondor. It is 1, a blue, a red, and a white for a 4/4 legendary creature human noble. It's got vigilance and lifelink, and it says when Aragorn, King of Gondor, enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. And whenever Aragorn attacks, up to 1 target creature can't block this turn. If you're the monarch, creatures can't block this turn. We have a monarch commander. What do we think, Steven?
I mean, this is pretty good. That second ability is pretty fire.
Yeah, I think however, I think as good as that ability is where creatures can't block this turn, only when you're the monarch, that really causes people to attack you and get the monarch away from you, right?
Yeah, 100%. But I think this is one of those cards where you build that big ass board state and you drop this and then you just swing because you become the monarch the second this hits the field.
Yep. I'm going to jump off of Steven's idea there. This is also in red. It's very easy to get this haste. I think you drop this and you just kill a player or win the game.
Wow. You after you building a board state, you mean?
I mean, yeah, but I don't think that's going to be really all that difficult to do. And this steals the Monarch whenever it ETBs, so you can have other cards that already have Monarch included in your deck too. I mean, that's just like you can flicker this thing, blink this thing as well, and it'll just keep getting you the Monarch back too. So I don't know. I think this card is pretty powerful, and also stats-wise, 4 mana for a 4/4 with Vigilance and Lifelink is pretty good to begin with.
I completely agree.
I don't know what else to do besides piggyback on you guys. Card seems good. You're going to play it. You're going to kill your opponent.
Yeah, exactly that. I think we're all on the same page here. Aragorn with the Monarch ability is very powerful. Let's move on to the grades. I'm going to give this a B.
Yeah, I'm going to join you on that.
I got to give it a B too.
I'm actually going to give this an A.
Wow,
Ooh.
Aragorn with an A. Well, the average grade for Aragorn, King of Gondor, is going to be a B. Next up, Beregond of the Guard. It is 3 and a white for a 3/3 legendary creature human soldier. It says when it or another human enters the battlefield under your control, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain vigilance until end of turn. I think a little popular effect here. If you get a whole bunch of creatures coming down on the field very quickly, it'll make the board giant, right?
You trying to tell me that humans go wide, dude?
Humans go wide.
That's weird, dude.
Yeah, especially since it doesn't say non-token.
Oof.
Yeah, this is kind of like I guess a somewhat modified version of like a Felidar Retreat stapled onto a creature, and that's a really good card, given that this doesn't give counters. It's just a temporary buff, but I mean, that could potentially be a huge buff, and Vigilance is really nice too, so I actually like this card quite a bit.
You're right, though. That end of the turn is very unfortunate, though, right?
I mean, not really.
I mean,
No?
it would be way more powerful if it wasn't till end of turn.
I know, dude. I would love it.
Yeah, Beregond of the Guard is an extremely powerful effect there. Just landfall, essentially, for humans. That gives +1/+1 and vigilance to everything. Seems
How
good.
does he rank up against other human decks you have, though? Hunter? I guess not just you in general, but human decks in general.
I'm going to say I'd say like mid-tier, just because I feel like with other human decks, there's extra colors you can play around with.
Yeah,
This
for
is
mono,
kind of mono white.
Even in mono white,
white.
though.
Yeah, you want to, because if you're running other colors, you want to give the stuff haste, obviously. And haste is normally in red. It's going to be a little harder to give haste to all those guys entering the battlefield at the same time. But it would be pretty cool. You can pump up at least one thing big if you make a bunch of humans.
I mean, like, this isn't as good as Rick Grimes, right? Unfortunately.
Not at all.
So that's what I'm just trying to say. Like, I guess it seems like a fun new card, but
I think this has the
human.
potential to be more explosive, though.
Yeah,
I
Oh,
agree.
the explosion. Yeah, this is a good card to put in, let's say, Rick Grimes. But yeah, I think it's still a good card. Let's move on to the grades. I think it's a good card, but mono white does hinder it a bit, so I'm actually going to go with a C.
I'm actually going to stick around a B with this card.
I'm gonna go with a C with Hunter.
Am I going to be like the shining light of positivity in this video? I'm giving this a B.
I
There
mean,
you
David
go,
said
dude.
B too. What do you mean?
David, you're just learning the alphabet here. A for Aragorn, B for Beregond. It's pretty cool.
I know, dude.
The the average grade here is going to be a B. The next card we're talking about is Boromir, Gondor's Hope. It is 2 a white and a blue for a 3/4 legendary creature human warrior. It says whenever Boromir, Gondor's Hope enters the battlefield or attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a human or an artifact card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. David, what do we think?
I just look at this as another opportunity to like flicker or bounce, which I think is wonderful since he's got that ETB. Also, if you do just want to use him as like a humans commander, I mean, this triggers on attack as well. And worst case scenario, if you whiff on humans, you can just grab artifacts too. So he's pretty wide ranging. I don't think he's gonna draw a lot of hate either. So I'm pretty high on this guy again.
I'm not like not high on it. It just seems very slow. Like I get that. I don't really want to maybe flicker him, but on attacks, you'll continue to get cards into your hand, so you'll never run out of stuff to play. But I don't know. It just seems a little slow for me.
I actually am a big fan of this as well. I'm on David's team here. I think the ability to not only just grab a human, but an artifact instead. We've seen how blue artifacts is very powerful in EDH. I think this is a fantastic commander.
Yeah. No.
Cut. You don't like this color combination, though, let's be honest.
I do like this color combo. I actually
Could have
run
fooled me.
a couple decks with this color combo, but I don't know. The fact that I'm looking at the top 6 and I'm basically just revealing one and then putting the 5 cards that are hopefully not really good at the bottom of my library. It's not really my favorite thing to do. Yes, going off of what David said, you could flicker or bounce this multiple times to maybe even run like an infinite with this and just kind of you go through your deck and put your entire deck in your hand. But I mean, at that, like, I don't know. It's just for me, that's not that fun. I hate cards like this where you have to choose one out of the 6 and it's restrictive.
I mean, I get that. I do look at it at the same time too, though, that this is wonderful as far as like grabbing your creature combo, or I guess your artifact combo too. Just bounce them or flicker them a ton, go through your whole deck, find exactly what cards you wanted, and set yourself up for victory.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think everybody knows I'm not a big combo player, so I don't think that would be.
Shut up. So maybe that's why I'm bad at judging this card then, because my brain didn't even think to like, oh, I'll hunt for my combo. So I guess that makes sense, David.
I don't know. Combat is a step of magic that I've
I
never really
know.
understood.
Yeah, I'm very aware.
Moving on to the grades, I'm starting to learn the alphabet here, Dave. I'm giving Boromir a B.
It's a good thing you're a quick learner like that, dude. I'm already on that. B is for Boromir. Or
Yeah.
Boromir's for B.
Yeah, you know what? You guys are right. C.
Yeah, Gondor, B.
Well, the average here for Boromir, Gondor's Hope is going to be a B. Next up, Denethor, Stone Seer. It is 1 and a blue for a 1/3 legendary creature human noble. It says when it enters the battlefield, scry 2. You can also pay 3 and a red, tap it, sacrifice Denethor. Target player becomes the monarch. Denethor deals 3 damage to any target. I think we found our
Wow.
first not very good card, guys.
I'm sticking
I'm
with my
gonna say-
alphabet.
B. Oh, sorry.
What do
This
you
is
think?
awful.
Yeah, I don't think this is a card for commander. As a commander, I mean.
It's on flavor. I'll say that.
You always say
Because-
that.
No. I don't always say that. I'm
No,
saying
about this card. You said it like 14 times about this card.
yeah, and I'm sticking with it. It is on
I get
flavor.
it. I get it.
You pay a red, he kills himself, basically setting himself on fire and
Yep.
giving someone else the ability to be king.
True. But like any other commander where you're killing it to do its thing, not really work too well. It doesn't work too well.
Or he can set something else on fire and make somebody else king.
What?
He does 3
Please.
damage to another target. Just saying.
You could use this as like pseudo politics of like, hey, I'll kill my commander and make you monarch and then destroy my opponent's 3 toughness creature if you just don't attack me. Please don't hurt me.
Oh, David, you forgot to add, and I'll also pay 4 mana for it.
Yeah, don't
Look,
try to downplay it too much, Dave. Jeez.
4 mana to essentially
Kill
get
your
3
commander.
damage to kill your commander and give you card draw at the end of the turn.
I'm ready to move on.
well, no, give
Yeah,
another.
please.
Oh, I guess you could give it to yourself. Yeah, whatever. Let's move on to grades. This card's
Yeah, this card's not good. David, what are you giving it? Alphabet
Denethor
boy?
starts with a D. It's a D.
Yeah, I'm actually going to join you. It is a D. You know what? Hang on.
Why are we giving
I'm
this a
actually-
D?
I'm actually not going to join you at all, David. This is an F for me.
Yeah, this is an F, David.
Can I
This
change my mind
is-
too? I would just jump the gun there. This actually is an F.
This is 100% an F.
Yeah. Denethor Stone Seer. Average grade here is an F. Moving on to Eomer, King of Rohan. It is 3, a red, and a white for a 2/2 legendary creature human noble. It's got double strike. It says it enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each other human you control. And when it enters the battlefield, target player becomes the monarch. Eomer deals damage equal to its power to any target. Once again, we're dealing with monarch.
Once again, we're dealing with large board states.
If you want to make this really powerful, I think you're going to definitely show your hand to the board. You're going to make your board before you play your commander. Then you're going to deal a bunch of damage to someone's face, I assume, or just like someone's big creature. I don't know.
Yeah, there's I definitely want to build a board state of 40 creatures and deal 40 damage to a 6/6.
I'm saying you don't have to build your board with 40 creatures right away. If you have a lot of creatures, it's either going to go to face or it's going to go to a creature.
I'm going to play this card and I'm going to win. Sorry. I'm not actually going to do that. This card is not great.
I don't really agree with Steven. I don't think the card is as bad as what he's saying. I think it's quite a bit better. I don't also think at the same time that this is like super clutch. I don't know. You have to be able to go somewhat wide with this for this to be impactful, and then this obviously wants to be like a big Voltron-y threat because it's double strike and massive. I don't know. I feel like this actually, the more that I think about this, I feel like this kind of falls right in that gray area where it wants to do 2 things, but isn't really all that great at either, and it costs 5 mana.
Does cost 5 mana, but it does enter the battlefield with extra counters on it based on how much creatures you have, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, but this thing could be like a 400/400 with double strike, and it doesn't have haste, and it still dives to everything.
Come on, you're red though. You can give it haste.
And it still gets blocked by a 1/1.
Give it trample too. Why not?
Also, he keeps giving it things. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Well,
you
like,
need to give it all these evasions.
I mean, that was my thought too. Is like, I do want to make this like this really big Voltron-y thing, but then you've got to give it all the things. And in which case, are you spending all your mana on giving it the things, or are you spending your mana on making a bunch of humans?
Pick one.
Yeah, I can understand the issue there. But let's move on to the grades. David, what are you giving it? An E?
There are no E's, sadly. Grades don't go that. I would say that low, but like it goes DF. I don't know. I think I'm gonna give this just like middle of the road. It's a C.
I completely agree. This is a C from me too.
I agree. It's a C.
I'm going to join you guys. This is a D.
All right. Eomer gets the average grade of a C. Moving on to Eowyn, Shieldmaiden. This is 2, a blue, a red, and a white for a 5/4 legendary creature human knight. It's got first strike. It says at the beginning of combat on your turn, if another human entered the battlefield under your control this turn, create 2/2 red human knight creature tokens with trample and haste. Then if you control 6 or more humans, draw a card. I will go first because this is the phase commander of the deck that I decided to upgrade, and I also purchased the entire precon deck. And we actually got a good look of it last night at the time of recording this video. And I just want to say that it kept up with the table right out of the box. It's a very strong commander that makes the board state very wide very quickly.
So I take it from what you just said that they didn't do what we normally do and just kill your commander multiple times.
Never needed to.
They did kill it multiple times, but I still played it.
This commander was relentless, dude. We killed it, and then in the matter of a turn, it repopulated its entire board.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. All you need is one other creature in this, enter the battlefield, and then you have double the amount of creatures. You just get 4 creatures immediately. It's pretty good.
The first
mean,
arc on this card definitely was good too, Hunter.
I think the card's all right. I think that like there's a lot of potential for upside on this. You do obviously have to be able to have your hand crafted in a specific way to make the most of it, so that you can drop another human first. So there's like almost kind of like a pseudo tax effect if you don't have some kind of like token production outside of Eowyn. So I can see this as like sometimes it's going to be good and do a lot for you, and sometimes it's not going to be good and it's not really going to do a whole lot for you. I don't know. I'm kind of middle of the road on this card.
I'm imagining when you build this deck, though, out of all the creatures you're playing, they're all humans.
Oh,
Bingo.
I totally get that. Like, this is a human travel deck, and I don't think that this card is like bad by any means. But I look at it like this is 5 mana, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw it out there. 5 mana is starting to reach the point where it's becoming expensive to be your commander. I know that not everybody's meta works that way, but like 5 mana better be really impactful for your commander. And this wants another human to have already entered the battlefield. So I'm assuming at very bare minimum, that's an extra 1 mana tax on this. So like there is going to be very quickly a world in which like you don't have the ability to have that to have her ability actually proc.
Yeah, I think that's my issue with this card too, if I'm quite honest with you. I think I really love this card and I love the effects and abilities, but at the same time, this dies twice and it just becomes super difficult to do what I think this deck would want to do.
Yeah, because then not only is it expensive, but you have to have another creature in your hand that is a human that you can cast with this and commander tax.
I mean, granted, you will be relying on the rest of the 99 to help you out, but I just, I'm shitting on it, I guess, but I actually really enjoy this card.
Moving on to the grades. Maybe I'm biased, but I'm going to give Eowyn a B.
Yeah, I pooped on her a little bit, but I'm actually gonna give it a B as well.
I think at its best, it's probably a B. I think at its worst, it's probably a C. I'll be lenient and I'll give it a B.
Oh, you really are being nice.
I'm giving this a B, boys.
B, boys. Looks like we all have the same bit bias. This is going to be an average of a B. Moving on to Faramir, Steward of Gondor. This is 1, a white and a blue for a 2/2 legendary creature human noble. It says whenever a legendary creature with mana value 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, you become the monarch. And at the beginning of your end step, if you're the monarch, create 2 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens. Back to the monarchs. What do we think, Steven?
You know, I this is really weird. I like it and I don't like it. I like it because technically you're playing this if we're just on curve, turn 3, and then turn 4, you're able to basically proc that first ability, and then you get the 2/1/1s right afterwards. I think it really does set you up pretty nicely. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know. If I'm constantly, I hate restrictions like this. I don't know.
I think
I-
it's too big of a restriction.
Yeah.
I think it sucks because the minute you play this card, it does nothing really, unless it's like way later in the game.
What do you mean? Oh yeah.
Well, you
So
play
the
it turn
turn it
3 and
comes
it does
down.
literally nothing. So unless
Unless
you're
you
like
got a
way
shit
later
ton
in
of
the
mana.
yeah. So I mean, like that kind of sucks.
I think the restriction of having a specific legendary creature with mana value 4 or greater just to get you to the monarch. I know, David, you've mentioned already there's other ways to get the monarch. And when you are the monarch, sure, end step you're going to be able to draw a card because of monarch and make 2 1/1s. But I don't know if that's good enough.
I mean, I
See,
think it is good enough.
This is my thought, though, is that like in order to steal the monarchy, you either have to be playing cards that have you actually gain the monarch or become the monarch, or you have to be able to deal combat damage. He does a really good job of being able to protect your board by creating this extra token, so it's going to come up your board state. I think this card is okay. I'm not super high on it, but I do love the fact that the steward actually cannot be the monarch since he doesn't self-proc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Maybe
think
some of
that's
the
this
flavor.
card's biggest downfall is the
So you
fact
can't
that it
self-proc?
does nothing that it does when it comes down onto the field other than defend yourself.
I mean, monarch is also a mechanic, though, that like once it's in play, it never goes away. So this guy, if you've, I don't know, for whatever reason, if he has died and you have to recast him, you're not really super penalized by all that. Like, just attack the player that took the monarchy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Moving on to the grades. Steven, what are you giving Faramir?
Let me give him a C.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give him a C too. It's kind of just
I'm right there with you, middle of the road, C from me.
Everybody gives a C.
The average grade for Faramir, Steward of Gondor, is a C. Next up, Gilraen, Dunedain, Protector, 2 and a white for a 2/3 legendary creature human noble. Has an ability where you can pay 2 and tap it, exile another target creature you control. You may return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. If you don't, at the beginning of the next end step, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control with a vigilance counter and a lifelink counter on it. Very, very cool flicker effect. You can have it flicker immediately or flicker at the end of your turn to give it some extra things on it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't you don't sound too stoked about it.
I'm not too stoked,
Nope.
honestly.
Why not, Shane?
You're kind of incentivized to make your thing go away for longer, and then I guess you get the vigilance lifelink counter. But I'm guessing you're not doing that the minute this comes down, unless you're waiting to play this later in the game. Seems
You have to
interesting,
tap
though.
her.
Oh, and you have to tap her. So yeah, this card does nothing when it first comes in. That's a bummer.
I'm going to view this through a little bit of a different lens. This is a flicker effect, but this is a card where it's like, okay, do I need to flicker defensively, or do I just like keep my mana up and you know what? Nobody's attacking me. So on my opponent's, I don't know, second main, whenever I feel like I'm pretty safe, I'm going to go ahead and flicker one of my things. And whenever it comes back, it'll get those counters on it because I didn't actually need to like scramble for that immediate ETB again.
Yeah, I think this card's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Well, if you think that, Hunter, read me the flavor text.
I cannot read the flavor text.
He can't read. You heard it here first.
Steven, you sound very down still and you haven't said anything. What's the deal?
Well, I was waiting for my turn, Hunter. Jeez, everyone was talking. I don't know. I just think that I'm kind of with Shane on this. The fact that when this comes down, it kind of does nothing and you have to kind of wait for your next turn. I do agree with David. I think this is more of a strategic, like, flicker or blink. I don't really think that you're doing this for just straight ETBs. I think that you're kind of waiting for opponents' end steps or, sorry, not end steps, but their second mains. But the fact I got to pay 2 mana and tap this, and I mean, technically all the opponents have to do is just target this thing because, I mean, shit, you can't even target it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if we're building around a blink deck, you're going to be able to have other ways to blink, and that'd be pretty sweet.
Steven, you
this.
sound like Switzerland.
What?
He's very. I see both ways. I don't want to give a strong opinion.
I mean, if I have to give a strong opinion, I don't see it, and I don't think I care to see it.
Open your eyes.
No.
Moving on to the grades, I'm actually high on this enough to where I think I'm going to give it a B.
Nope. It's a C.
Yeah, I think it's going to be middle of the road. C.
Yeah, I'm going to give this a C. It's middle of the road.
The average grade for Gilraen is going to be a C. And the final card from Riders of Rohan, it is Gimli of the Glittering Caves. It is 2 and a red for a 1/1 legendary creature dwarf warrior. It's got double strike and says whenever another legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Gimli of the Glittering Caves. And whenever Gimli deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token.
Hell yeah.
When I made this deck and I upgraded the deck, I questioned why this card was even in the deck because it does literally nothing about the humans. So
Yeah, but
But a
there's
lot of those
only-
humans were legendary.
Yeah, dude. And this gets a counter that's permanent?
we actually just talked about all of the legendaries that were in the deck.
Yeah.
So
And he
not
makes
too
treasure
many.
tokens on attack. Can we just talk about everything it does? Do we need to read the card again?
Makes
Doesn't
treasure tokens on
On
damage.
damage.
Which is so
Yeah.
much better than attacks because this
Yeah.
card has double strike. So if it connects, it makes 2 treasures.
Boom, boom. Bang, bang, boom, boom.
Can I just say I would love to see this card played with Norin the Wary. I just think it'd be so fun.
Because
I
he runs
mean-
away.
Yeah, he runs away and then he comes back and then he runs away and comes back. And then you know what? You pass your turn cycle around and now this thing has 4 counters on it.
Pretty good.
And you're making
Pretty good.
a billion treasure. Or 2. I mean 2.
But this is my commander and Norn's not my commander. So like, I don't think this card's good.
I don't think it's that good either, David.
I like it.
I think I would like it in Norn the Wary.
Let's move on to the grades. I am not high on Gimli, so much so that I'm going to get a lot of hate. I'm giving it a D.
Whoa. I like it, but I'm still giving it a C.
I'm I'm with Hunter, actually. I'm gonna give this a D.
Oh, well, I'm going to be with Shane. I'm giving this a C.
Higher grade, baby.
The average grade here for Gimli is going to be a C. And that is going to do it for us today. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Long legendary list of Riders of Rohan. If you guys like this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Don't forget to comment down below telling us if you agreed with our grades, if you disagreed with our grades. Maybe you're building one of these decks and we were wrong about the deck. Let us know. And in the description, you'll find links to our Instagram, our Twitter, and our TikTok. That is at Guys at Magic for each one. Follow us on those too. Keep up to date with all the other things we're doing. And until the next video, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.
Bye bye.
Later.
Later.